Hi, Brian. This is Greg. How are you doing today?
No, I'm doing great. How you doing, Greg?
I'm doing well. Hey, appreciate you taking some time today. I know everybody's so busy nowadays and want to appreciate that your time well spent. Um, I
Yeah,
know we
sure.
scheduled for 45 minutes. Does that still work for you today?
Sure. Yeah, that works for me.
Awesome. So I know you talked to Bruce originally, and he got a little bit of information of what you're trying to do. Um, but really, what I'd like to do is find out a little bit more of your company, um, kind of what you're doing currently. Excuse me. Figure out what's causing you some pain as far as the way you do things now, and see if we can't create a solution together with our services, and talk about what a decision looks like in your world and what impacts that makes on your business. Does that
Okay.
sound good? Does that sound all right?
Absolutely.
Awesome. So tell me again the name of your company.
It is called Wellbone Dog Food Company.
I like that.
Yeah, me too. That's why I named it that.
So you named it. Are you the owner?
Yeah, I sure am.
And are you the only one really going to be involved in the decision, or are you needing other people to be involved in this decision?
Well, I'm definitely the only quote unquote decision maker because I'm the only one that would be paying for it. But Randy, she's the one that is the one that has just been brutalized by all this time spent having to put together everyone's reporting, tracking people down, collecting or just manually calculating everything with a calculator, pen and paper. I don't know. It's just a pretty archaic thing, and frankly, I feel bad for her. So I would
Yeah,
definitely want to make sure that she felt good about it, and just wanted to get some information by her before I go forward with any decision that I do.
absolutely. So the process sounds fairly manual and time consuming for Brandy right now, apparently, right?
Yeah, for sure. And her name is Randy with an R.
Oh, I'm sorry. I wrote down
No
Randy on
worries.
my paper, but I said Brandy. Maybe I was thinking it's Friday night at 4 o'clock and it's time for Brandy. Maybe
That's
not.
entirely possible.
There you go. Well, so tell me, before I ask you a little bit about, how it all works and how you're doing it now, is there any way to get Randy in the conversation with us right now?
Yeah, let me just holler out in the other room and I'll see if she's available. Can you give me a sec?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. Yeah, thanks for holding. Yeah, it looks like she can come in on the phone call now. She's got a pretty bad case of laryngitis, so she'll probably just be taking some notes here and there and passing notes over to me. So just in case she needs to ask you anything, then I'll be the one that's going to ask for her.
Sounds great. Yeah. More importantly, hopefully we can just let her see what the system looks like and see if it's something that she feels comfortable using for sure. So tell me right
Okay.
now, um, how do you keep track of time for your business right now, and how many people, and kind of how does it work to get them all prepared for payroll?
Well, right now we have, what is it, 8 manufacturing workers, and then we have 2 delivery drivers, and we also have 4 office workers, and that includes Randy. And right now, we just have a clipboard that's in the office, and manufacturing workers can go in there and just write down on the clipboard just what time they come in, what time they leave, breaks, all that. And then they can say what times they did lunch, yada, yada, yada. The difficult part comes with a couple different reasons, as I'm sure you can imagine, is first, let's say they're coming in at 8:38. One, we don't know if they're actually coming in at 8:38. Even though we've got cameras, man, I really don't want to give Randy all that extra work and
Yeah.
just have her look at the cameras and see. We're just really hoping that everyone is accountable and honest about everything, but you just never know. And sometimes it's not even necessarily about being very dishonest, but you may just say, oh, you know what, it's close enough to 8:30, and then they can just do that. But it always seems to be in their favor. And then also, everyone really seems to be working almost exactly 40 hours every single week, although I get the feeling that that's not happening. And the other
Yeah.
part is, if for some reason somebody puts down exactly 8:38, well, that just creates extra work for Randy, because now she has to be able to calculate all that, and it's just a lot more difficult when there aren't just round numbers all the time.
So taking that from the clipboard to payroll preparation, is she manually just then taking that and putting it in a spreadsheet, or what does she do to get it from the clipboard into her mind or her
Well, there are
process?
a couple steps that she needs to do, because so many times, probably half of the time, there are just missing spaces where people just, it's just like, I don't know if it's just an out of sight, out of mind thing. I'm just not really sure what it is, but I'm sure it's an accountability part on our side that we need to do. But it just really seems like they're just not putting in the times where they went on break, meals, anything like that. So that's an annoyance, because she has to track everybody down, either find them and say, hey, you got to put that in, or send them out emails. Lots of times they don't even check their emails. So it's just a hunting down thing, which just spends so much time. In addition to it, once she has all that done, then she needs to go over and manually input the information, load it into our QuickBooks Online program, and then that's how she puts all the payroll together to make sure that I can get them paid.
Okay, so that answers the question I had in the future as well, is who you're using from a payroll standpoint. So that's good to know as well. Thank you for mentioning that.
Why, of course.
Um, and those missing line items from those folks, we actually call that a missing punch in our world. And even though they're not punching a clock or anything there, I can speak to how that'll work. If you move over to swipe clock. So the clipboard, if I can ask a couple more questions, is that at the office, or do you have a clipboard for the folks in manufacturing? Are they two different buildings or just one? One clipboard for everybody?
It's just one clipboard for everybody, and it's just right outside of the office. So all the manufacturing workers, if they're dirty or anything like that, they're not actually going to have to walk into the office and be able to, and have to go in and do the clipboard and all the time and anything like that. It's much easier than that, so they can come by right in the office, which is still going to be inside the actual building, and that's where they can get it taken care of. So yeah, it's just one centrally located place.
Gotcha. Now, that being said, that's probably fine and dandy, the clipboard for the 8 manufacturing folks and the 2 office folks. How does that work, and what's the difference for the 2 drivers? Do they use that same clipboard?
Well, that part gets a little confusing. Yes, they do use the same clipboard, but I have everybody on set schedules from, say, 8 till 5 o'clock, but the delivery drivers are from 10 until either 7 or 8, just depending on when they're done with their deliveries. But the challenge is that everybody else leaves at 5 o'clock, which means that we shut down the building. And all the security leaves, everything. We don't, like, all the lights are off, everything's locked up. We give them a key so they can be able to get in. And don't get me wrong, I trust my employees, but when they come in at that time, I mean, there's a safety hazard that what if something happens to them while nobody else is there?
Yeah.
Or what if potentially there might be some sort of a suggested theft that occurred? Like, the cameras aren't even really on at that time. So, I mean, it's just a myriad of issues that can happen. So I would definitely prefer it if they could just clock out, not having to actually do it on the clipboard either the next day. But if they do it the next day, they're probably not going to remember exactly what time they left. I don't know. There's just a bunch of questions that I have that I would like solved.
and you mentioned the accountability, and it makes it a little more challenging to be accountable when you're leaving it for any period of time, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, so do you utilize Wi-Fi in your business as far as for your employees, for the internet within and around your office there?
Sure. Yeah, we've got Wi-Fi.
Okay. Okay. Tell me, and I appreciate you giving me some info as far as how you do it now. Tell me, I mean, if money were no object and you had um, what your ideal situation would be, how do you see that working, knowing that, we can electronicize, if that's a word,
It's probably not, but I like it.
that clipboard, right? If we can get rid of that. So before you answer that, let me just say we have um, intelligence that a clipboard can't do, right? And what that
I would hope so.
what that entails is it takes that clipboard and makes it smart. So they punch in, they punch out at the end of the day. In the meantime, they punch out for lunch, punch back in for lunch or breaks, however you want to do it. We can do that through a web clock, or we can do it through a physical clock that's on the wall as they walk in the door and walk out. And then all of that is in the cloud. So all you're really doing for Randy is she's going into our system and preparing the payroll based on what's already in there. He doesn't have to do any type of calculations and any type of preparation other than the click of a mouse to get it going, right? So knowing that we could put electronics in the cloud to fix the issues you're having now, I mean, do you foresee you wanting them to have, a physical clock, or would you like them to have a terminal as they walk in, a PC be sitting there that's connected to your network where they could log in and log out? How do you kind of see, what do you think would be best in your scenario that you could foresee wanting to have implemented?
Well, what's really important to me is that I just don't want to be overpaying them for really anything. And frankly, I don't know if you guys have heard of this, but this happens every once in a while, and I've caught them on doing this because I've looked at the cameras saying, "Oh, wait, I'm pretty sure you actually weren't here at the certain time." So what happens is I look at the cameras and I realize that for sure, let's say Bob said that he came in at 8 o'clock. Well, I see that he didn't roll in until about 9:30, and I go, well, how is that possible? Because he wrote on the clipboard at that time, and really what's happening is I start to take a look at some other ones, and I go, wait a minute. Bob's writing seems to look a lot like Eric's writing today. And I just realized that, yeah, they're frankly just signing in for the other person. And I just want there to be 100% transparency and integrity. So whatever you can do to make that work.
Well, so I assumes that it sounds like Bob and Eric are buddies. Is that safe to say?
Oh, yeah.
Well, then what we would call that is buddy punching. And so the buddy's punching in for the other. So pretty much everything we do is to help you get away from the buddy punching, right? So we can certainly address that and help you, if a perfect system helps you eliminate that and really makes it so that you hold people accountable. It's easy to figure out those missing punches and get the mill and breaks and everything accurate and get rid of buddy punching and prepare that payroll to easily input into QuickBooks. I think we can address all of those issues and concerns and pain points that you have now. Would that be
That'd be huge.
That'd be huge. I like the word huge.
Me too.
It's a big word.
Indeed.
Well, awesome. Well, let me dive into the system here in a second and show you how to address those issues you have. But for just 1 minute, I wanted to tell you that we're not just a fly-by-night company. You know, you've been in business quite a while, and you started that business, so you know what it's like to start a business. Well,
I
we've been
do.
around 1999, and currently we have over 1 million users that are using the punch in and punch out, whether it be through the web clock, um, through a physical clock. Um, you know, we have that many employees all the time using that. Um, and we've actually but we're winning awards for our service and for our reliability from that standpoint. And so that gives you just a little bit about us, and that we actually, you know, are here. We're here for the long run. We've been here almost 20 years, and we're located in Utah, so not too far away from where you guys are at. That
Yeah.
way. So just a little bit about us. Let's dive into the system just for a second. As I change my screen here to show you. And what I'll do first is show you what it looks like for the employees. Um, Actually, I lied. I'm not going to show you employees first. I'm going to show you what it looks like from a clock standpoint. What clock options I would recommend to meet your needs right out of the gate.
Okay.
And the clock that's going to be, there you go. Can you see that clock on our screen?
Yes.
Okay, that's called TimeWorks Touch Clock. And basically it's a fully intelligent clock, and we call it our punch logic, that coordinates with exactly how the system looks across our board, across our platforms, through the web clock and through the physical clocks. This one obviously is a biometric thumbprint. So the nice thing there is, you talk buddy punching, that's going to eliminate the buddy punch, right? Rick and Eric and Bob, they're buddies, but they're not probably willing to exchange a thumb for an extra half hour of
Probably not.
It's one thing to exchange, you know, you can borrow my pen and write me in, and I'll do the same for you next time. So we're going to eliminate the buddy punching altogether with the physical clock. The beautiful thing about this one is it gives you the punch logic. So this is going to toggle between in and out, and once you've punched in, you can't punch in again, right? So it's kind of grayed out in the picture. Well, now that that's grayed out, the only option at this point for somebody is to hit the thumbprint and punch out, or hit the thumbprint and start their break. At that point, they'll end their break or start their mill and end their mill. Once you've started the break or mill, the only option is going to be to punch back in from those. Now, if you punch in, punch out, and you don't take a break or a mill, right, that's, you would just have that option. All right, so you have the intelligence to do exactly what you wanted as far as holding accountability to folks when they have a mill, when they have a break, when they're in, when they're out. And the system is going to record that, and it's not going to deviate. It's not going to lie from anything that they're doing there. So if I'm scheduled at 8 and I punch in at 7:59, it's going to punch me in at 7:59 or 8:01. So it's going to be accurate down to the minute, and you're going to be set as far as solving the concern of buddy punching and having that breaks and mills and holding people accountability.
Okay.
Do you think that would work better than the clipboard?
So much better.
Yeah. But now, where does all that information go when you do it, right? It goes to a portal where Randy can have access to get everything ready for payroll, right? And she's going to be able to see if somebody forgot to punch in or punch out every day, right? And really every minute of every day if she wants to. Depends on if you have an issue with an employee or not. Would that be helpful for her? I know.
Oh, very much so. That'd save her a lot of time.
Awesome. and at some point here, we'll put. I mean, you can start to see that it's going to start putting a value on that app and free her up for more important projects than just doing this mundane stuff every day, right? So she's going to become a much more valued employee at the food shop there. So, any question about the physical clock?
No, were you saying that there's a plug-in on there, or?
So basically, yeah, I'm sorry, I was going to go there, but then I appreciate that. So basically, you've got a couple different ways you can make that speak to our software. And what that does is you can use your Wi-Fi. You said you had existing Wi-Fi network, so you can put it anywhere as long as it's connected to that Wi-Fi, or you could hardwire it right into your network, with a network cable. And so, you don't have to, if the Wi-Fi starts stacked up or something, it's wired directly into that. So it works both ways. It also has battery backup in there. So if the power was to go out right as closing time, it'll have a battery backup to help you get everybody punched out quickly. So
very nice.
Yeah. So hopefully that's where the clipboard is. It would be easy to mount it or put it on a table either way and have it connect to the network.
Cool.
Does that answer that question?
Yes, it does.
Awesome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So let me jump into, before I get in to show you how it would work for Brandy to do payroll and what her view is, right? I want to show you what it would look like for the mobile drivers, right? And how they would be able to clock in. They can certainly clock in, right, with the clock when they get in there, right? I'm assuming they would come right in, punch in, fill up their truck, and then go. The challenge is punching out. You don't want them coming back in, right?
Correct.
So let me show you. And sorry, I'm having just an issue with GoToMeeting, just a hair, but I will take a look and show you what it will look like for them to come log in. So this is our web interface, and they can log in. They will be given a very simple code, but that's just for them only, right? They have to reset when they start. Well, at this point, do they have, I guess I need to ask you one quick question about the drivers. Do they have mobile access as far as like an iPhone or an Android?
Yeah, they all have phones.
Okay. So what you can do is they can, and that just timed out. Sorry about that. They can go to our website and go to the mobile app, and basically when they're sitting in the parking lot or as they pull in, if the Wi-Fi reaches them or not, right? I'd prefer it connect to the Wi-Fi because we want to make sure they're back there logging out when they do. But they'll have the option to log in and they're going to see their web clock. And this is what will show on their screen. This section will go on to their mobile, right?
Oh, sorry, I don't see your screen.
Well, that's probably good then, because that shows my thing is now working.
There it is. Cool.
Ta-da!
There it is. Perfect.
Thanks. So
you're welcome.
And you're the best.
I know.
Let me tell you. So what they're going to see is they're going to see basically the web clock when they go to clock payroll services. So even though they clocked in with the physical clock in the morning, they can come in and clock out right from their mobile device, sitting in the parking lot grabbing the Wi-Fi, right? So you don't have to let them back in.
Oh,
This
nice.
particular employee hasn't been clocked in yet, so this is what it'll look like when they clock in, right? And then they just finish the punch, see how accurate it was. It did it at 3:32, and that's what time it is right now. And they've got
Perfect.
all the employees. If you want to grant them access to their dashboard, can see this same view when they log into their employee services. And that way they can see their time card and their schedule. Um, just like that, they're scheduled from 8 to 5, so this one's not a driver. They can also do time off requests inside the system. How
Oh, cool.
how are you doing time off requests right now? When people need
Just sending an email over to Randy, and then she takes a look at it and says, "Yeah, it doesn't look like I have anybody requesting that time off," and says, "Yeah, you can do it."
So she's keeping another spreadsheet, probably, huh?
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Do you have some folks you're giving paid time off for, or paying them when they're sick?
Yeah, we're doing all that, and she's really good at being able to put together all these different spreadsheets, but it's still a lot of work for her. I mean, it would be so much more work for her if she didn't know how to put together all these advanced spreadsheets, but it's still a fair amount of work because frankly, I mean, we give 2 weeks of vacation to everyone who's full time, which is the majority of them. And I would love it if there's some way of being able to track that other than just having to put all this on Randy to do it all.
Yeah, no, exactly. And when you mentioned having, the perfect solution for your world, this would take it one step closer to that perfection for you. And so I think that's great. If if the employees want the time off, they can request it, select when they want to do it. It's simple and easy. How many hours? And then this will go straight to Randy's login, and she'll be able to take a look at who's asked for what hours. It's so simple and easy. And I'll show you how that looks. It'll actually give her a schedule so she can look at that and approve or deny or give them half the day off. However, it works is by it that way. The nice thing is she should never be able to or never have a conflict of you know ending up being understaffed at any point in time moving forward with that. Um, so that's a great feature, and we'll talk about that more in a second. So if Brandy or you want to have messages for people out there, if there's a message you want to put out for a week or a month about a team meeting or a team activity or something, you can put that so it comes up on the employees' dashboards as well. So
Okay.
some other bonuses as far as the help. Any questions about kind of what the employees would see clocking in and out?
No, it looks good.
Okay. Um, Now let's just jump in quick to what Brandy would see as far as her portal. And I'm going to refresh this. So when she logs in to the administrator, and you can have whatever access you want to have as well. So if you're Randy's backup, so she can have a day off, this is how it would look for you as well, Brian. And so basically right now it shows I've got 5 employees that are currently logged in and working. I have one that's not, right? And so if I just hit this button, it's going to show me who's in and who's out. Jeff Smith, for example, right now is out because he's not scheduled till 4. Now, that reminds me, do you have any employees, do your drivers ever get there early and punch in and just kind of hang out and wait before the 10 o'clock starts for them?
Not my drivers, but I would probably say with my manufacturing workers that seems to happen a little bit more often than not.
They're coming in, writing that they're in, you're having to pay them to have coffee
Yes,
instead of coming in and starting to work.
exactly.
Well, we have a solution with that as well that's called Clock Lockout. And so when and this will work in the web clock if you have people using the web. It'll also work for the drivers as well, right? So let me show you how that would look first, and then we'll go back to Brandy's login as well. So you go back into that same login to get in, and this is Jeff Smith. If he's scheduled at 4, the clock's not going to let him start. So he's going to get that message saying he's not able to log in.
Oh, nice.
He can come in as early as 3:55, or obviously you tell them how you want to set it up. Them by meaning our implementation folks. You tell us how you want to set up, and we'll do it. Now it just timed us out because I'm done trying to clock in. But you can let them come in 10 minutes early. You can let them come in just at 4, plain and simple. I actually set this one up to let him come in a couple minutes early, but not an hour early, right? So you're going to be able to continue with that theme of accountability and, you know, having to be accurate. So it's truly what you're paying them for what they work, right?
Mhm.
Is that something you think you'd want to have built in?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I mean, is it anything extra to do it?
No, it's not extra, and basically you get that feature by having a basic scheduling function that the system gives you with our basic time and attendance. And what you
Okay.
do is you in the schedule, you say you have 8 to 5ers and 10 to 7, 10 to 8ish. Well, you build those in, and if they clock in, and you know it's 7, but they're scheduled at 8, then it's going to tell them that they can't, right? And it's a matter of just building some simple schedules in the system and doing that right now. So simple and
Okay.
easy. So Brandy
Great.
sees who's in, who's out. We can't log Jeff in until he's there. John Boss, we just logged him in, and that's not what I want to see, but we just logged him in. So let's go look at where it says he logged in. So as of right now, he's clocked in, and we did it at 3:32. It says it's done with the web clock. So if those drivers punch out with the web clock, it's going to show you that they punched out with the web clock, right?
Okay.
So simple and easy. It's going to show them they clocked out, and they're going to do that from your parking lot off your wireless network, which is going to give, you know, which is going to be locked down to your IP address that you have as well. So it's going to be accurate. They're not going to be able to clock out until you get back to the office with the truck, right? They're not going to be able to take the truck home for an hour and clock out. Well, I guess they could, but then that's more of an employee issue versus a time and attendance issue, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
So that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
So in her view, she's going to see all of the employees. So you're going to have, you know, the 8 manufacturing folks, the 2 drivers, and the 4 office folks all listed here, right? And what you're viewing here is you're viewing the missing punches. As you talked about, you had a clipboard, right? What that clipboard does is it tells you that you had a missing punch, but now you're going to be able to see it right there. And this is going to be highlighted in kind of a pinkish red color, and it'll change it to 1. All right, and I can actually show you what that looks like if you have a desire to see that. So if we edit, and I'm only doing this because I have administrative rights on this particular account, but if I was to edit that, it's going to give you a missing punch like that. And there it goes, it changes it up there. So Luke's got a missing punch. Then Randy can come in and say, Luke, you forgot to punch out. And he says, oh, shoot, sorry about that. I punched out at 4:45. So then Brandy can take and change that, right? Punch out. She can say she talked to Luke. Brandy is, or not Brandy, Randy is her name. And now you'll have a record of that it was edited, right? Now it says talk to Luke, Randy. So she fixes the punch. All it is, she doesn't have to run him, track him down. She could text him, she could call him, she could, you know, have him come up to the front desk wherever she sits, right? However that looks, and fix that punch that easy instead of chasing around with the clipboard. The next thing is she's got that real time, so she's going to know every morning when she comes in who's got missing punches and why they haven't done that.
Okay.
Any
Great.
questions with that?
No
So
questions.
now it shows there, and then once she approves or you approve the time cards, these are going to change to green for they're good to go, so we can figure that out. I wanted to show you one that has the mills. So the time card that shows with the mills is going to be the mill start and the mill end, right? So that automatically deducts those times, that hour or that time for that person out of your day. So if they have something going on, they have to go to the doctor and they need a 2-hour lunch, you know, it's going to be accurate so that they're not giving you the runaround, right?
Mhm.
So that's how
Yeah.
that would look. Now, our system has just a ton of features, probably more than 1,000. And obviously, you don't need that many to find the best solution for you. But what I want to make sure you know is we can customize things for your business, whether we do it at the beginning or in the future as your needs change. You can have people, you can have, you know, the fields here at the end. Those can all be customized to you. So if you have a driver that's wanting to put deliveries for different people, you can actually make it when they log in or log out, they could actually put in who they delivered last or where they're at, so that can all be customized to what you need, right? So there's a lot of things it can do. It's just a matter of if you want to have it done that way for you.
Great.
Does that sound good? So
Yeah.
any questions as far as the ins and outs and how that goes before I show you how easy it is for her to get payroll ready?
No, it seems self-explanatory.
Okay. Well, so you just have to go back to the main menu, Randy and Brian, and what you're going to do is go to our reports menu, and we've got about 20 pre-made canned reports that people like. We have the ability to do custom reports if you need them as well, moving down the line. But basically, you can just go to the summary report, do the pay period you want. You can show the wages and the dollars. Some people don't even have those in there, so it's up to you what you want to see, and then just hit submit. It's going to bring up all the hours for the pay period for every employee, and then you can export that right to a CSV, which then turns into the Excel spreadsheet that she's usually making. And I'm sorry, I took it to a different screen, so I'll try not to make you dizzy. Now she's got all the information right at her fingertips to know how many hours she's worked. If you want to have the dollar amounts in there, you can have that and have it all totaled up. Probably chances are she's going to want to have that like that. And then right now she's spending hours every pay period, right? Calculating that, figuring out lunches, doing that. Well, this takes all those lunches into account. It takes all of the ins and outs. It has it accurate for the drivers, and it's going to show her how much she's paying each person. Payroll is going to be quick, accurate, and easy, and save countless hours for what she's doing. Do you think Randy
Yeah,
would
definitely.
like that?
Well, yeah, I think Randy would like it, but I just really wish there was a way how we could find out how, because I want to be able to send this over to QuickBooks and be able to put the information in, but I can't really see how I can pay them if all I have is the hours.
Right. So it's just a matter of changing the report, right? So I did the summary report like this,
Mhm.
go to the pay period. I put the dollar amounts and the wages. I just didn't click enough of the buttons. Now it's got the
Oh,
hour,
okay.
pay rate.
That's
So
exactly what I need.
yeah, so I appreciate you. Some people have that built in, but QuickBooks is you're gonna have to provide that to them, huh? Right now you do anyway. So you're gonna have to do that as well. And then you do the same thing, bring it to a spreadsheet, do very little to manipulate it and then send that over to them. You're going to have the hours, the wages. You can make it as pretty as you like. Now you have the same information that we did before, just more details, right? So,
Okay.
do you think that's making the process easier for her at this time?
Yep, that's definitely going to be what we need.
Um, Tell me, what do you feel that she's going to be happier and you're going to be able to utilize her better when you implement something like this?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I can definitely see her being a much more satisfied employee, which is crucial because she's my right hand for sure. And also, I would rather her just go drum up business because we want to grow our business.
Absolutely. No, and the system is in place to help you grow um, in the business as well. We're great in the space where you are now, and we're so simple and easy to help you grow that. Tell me, as far as what you've seen so far, what did you like about the system?
Well, okay. I like how. Oh, and by the way, did you did I miss it, or did you already show me the information about the how I can be able to calculate people's vacation hours?
Oh, I just showed you how you got in there, huh? Well, it's right back to the same menu, right? And it goes into the time off request. This is going to be, that's not going to calculate your hours, but this is where that Randy would see the people who've asked for time off and approve that, right? She's going to see the calendar so she knows who's got what days off, so we're not double booking that. As far as seeing the time off hours, let me log back in. Um, well, Jeff's already still logged back in. So if you go to his time card, um, he's going to be able to see how many hours he has, but he's not logged. He doesn't have any. So let me just switch to a different. Um,
Yeah, and I don't necessarily need to see it. I just want to see. I just want to know that there is a possible way of being able to accrue time, and when they do time off, that it's going to reduce from the total time that they have available, and that based on tenure that they can have extra time added on. I just want to make sure that type of stuff is
yeah,
possible.
no, for sure, and that is a great question. And so what we do is we build in what you what you have established already as far as you work X amount of hours, you get X amount of time off, right?
Uh-huh.
And we build that in the system, and we will be able to create that right out of the gate, right? And then what it'll look like is you'll see my time card here shows I've got accruals of 20 hours as of 8/26/18. So when I go in and I request 8 hours off, I'm going to go in like I showed you through the employee portal. I'm going to request the time off, and then this is going to change to 8 hours here, down there at the bottom, right? But
Okay.
it's going to take away that 20, but it's going to show based on when I'm leaving and take that I have 12 hours left once I use those 8 hours. So it'll all be calculated and it'll show on each individual time card of each individual employee. So when I log in and I've got the 8 hours, it's going to put it here. It's going to take this down to 12 here, and then it's going to keep track of everything. And so really,
Great.
from an implementation standpoint, all you're going to do is tell us how you want it set up. If you have existing employees that already have a certain amount of hours, we will put that in. And from the time you start, it'll start accruing and adding it to what we add in. And then that's one more thing, one more challenge that Randy doesn't have to deal with because it'll all be done manually in the system. Does that answer that question?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Do you think, you feel it's simple enough to do?
Yeah, I mean, as long as you guys set it all up and make it easier on us, then I'm happy.
Yeah. What other questions?
Do you?
Absolutely. We set it all up for you. We make sure it works, make sure it's calculating the way you want it to do, and then it'll automatically do it as long as the employees do the request in the system, right? And we have that in the system as vacation hours or sick hours or PTO, however you want to label it. We'll put it in how you want it. As long as they request it in the system, it's going to calculate it correctly.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, then I'm set.
Now you're set. You're set to buy. Set to make some decisions.
I respect the yes.
I joke a little bit about that, but tell me about your timeline and when you're looking to make a decision and get something in place.
I would say the sooner the better, just because I want to make it so Randy's life is going to be easier.
Okay. At this point, just after talking, for the last 40 minutes, is there any reason that you wouldn't move ahead with Swipe Clock?
The price.
You don't even
I don't know what the price is. It's hard to say yes, and I don't know what the price is.
Okay. Well, hopefully it's not all about price because we have created a lot of value for you. But let me tell you, we are very competitive from a price standpoint. And basically how it works is how we've derived at our prices, we usually save people like Randy anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes a month or even per processing time, right? If you do payroll twice a month, it's 10 to 15 minutes per payroll. I'm sorry about the noise. We're having a huge party at our office apparently today.
Apparently, jeez. Yeah, I want to be part of that party.
So hopefully it'll spread or at least last until we're done. So we save about 10 to 15 minutes per pay period in just the processing that Randy does. And that we found with our customers, the million people that are punching our system every month, it averages about $40 per employee per month. And so for the things that we've talked about, creating an accountability, getting the mills punches, taking care of the missing punches, eliminating buddy punching, all those things, making it simple to get to QuickBooks. We ask that you pay 10% of what we're going to save you per employee per pay period. And so we just charge $4 per month per employee for all that we've talked about today. Does that meet kind of what your price expectation was to do that?
Wait, okay, I'm confused. I know that you said how much it costs or how much I would be saving and being able to have a time clock that's set up, were you saying what the monthly fee was?
So there's a couple fees, right? So the monthly sorry, I just have had a hard time thinking with all this noise, so I apologize.
Yeah, so much noise.
So we charge $4 per month per employee on a monthly basis for the software as a service. Now,
okay.
We did talk about a physical clock, and I'll tell you what that pricing is. And you don't have to write any of this down because right before we finish, I'll send you the physical pricing in a nice DocuSign that'll show you exactly what it looks like. So
okay.
$4 a month per employee for the service. we have 4 packages that we use from an implementation and training and support standpoint. And the package deal that would give you all the accruals and all of the reporting and everything that we talked about today is just a one-time fee of $338 for the one-time fee for the implementation, training, and support. The clock that we talked about is going to be $949, a one-time fee. That includes a limited lifetime warranty on the clock. It also includes the activation of getting that clock and getting it set up and getting it talking to our service. Now, I did forget about one fee. That's a monthly fee as well that would go on top of how many users did we have? We had 14 users. Excuse me. So let me look at one thing. So, I apologize. Now it's quieted down so I can stop struggling. Oh my gosh. So basically, the 14 users at $4 a piece is going to be $56. We have a monthly fee of $10 for our service to communicate with the clock each month. So you'd be at $66 a month. Plain and simple. You'd have the one-time fee of $338 to get the service implemented, trained, and ongoing support for the life that you're with us, and then the price of the clock. So you will own the clock, so it's got a lifetime warranty on it, so it should be the last clock you're ever going to need, and you pay that one-time fee of $949 to get that in, serviced, and up and going. Hopefully I didn't confuse you too much, Bryce.
Yeah, definitely a lot of information over there. Now, okay, well, yeah, I mean, if you can just send me over the proposal, since it has a lot of pricing on there, and I can take a look at it, and Randy and I can talk about it offline, and then we can let you know.
Well, do me this. Check your inbox right now and see if my pricing has actually showed up. It should be in an email from DocuSign.
Oh, okay. I saw it come through. Let me give a glance. All right, so you've got the $949 for the clock, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the $338 for the implementation, and then you have the $56, I think is what yes, $56 for the employees, and also another $10 on top of that for a monthly fee. What's that for?
So basically that is the transmittal fee, the talk between the TimeWorks Plus, which is the $56 for all your employees, and that's the name of the service, and the physical clock, the TimeWorks Touch Clock. So we charge a monthly fee of $10 per month to communicate those together each month.
Okay. Yeah, so, and go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask if that answers the question on what that is. So we have the service fee for the software, the connection to the clock. They're the only things you pay monthly.
Okay, I gotcha. Yeah, then I guess it all looks good. I mean, how long of a contract am I locked in on?
Well, that's the beautiful thing is we strive not to force our customers to stay with us. We try to earn their business. So we don't have a monthly or a long-term contract. It's just a month-to-month basis. So we do our best to earn your business. Most of our customers stay longer than 4 years with us, even though we don't tie you to a year commitment or 2 or 3. So a lot of people do, but we want you to stay and be our customer and be happy. But if for some reason you decide to sell the business and they don't want us anymore, they bring their own stuff in, that's fine. There's no penalty to be done. You just pay, you pay your bill in full and you can walk away. so there's no
Okay.
long-term contract.
Okay, cool. Well, that's definitely nice. And let me see. So, I mean, is there some sort of a trial period that I can dabble into this, or how's that work?
Well, so basically, there really isn't a trial period as far as that goes. As far as trying the service out, I can get you access to play around in the system on one of our demos. I mean, what exactly are you looking to see with doing a trial? Tell me more about what you're thinking.
Well, I just want to be able to make sure that it works, and I know that it's going to be, say, $66 a month, and I don't know. I was just hoping maybe the first month or maybe even the first couple months that I could just be able to kind of sort of go into it with a free trial, or just maybe not have a monthly fee for a little bit. I just don't know if that's an option. If it's not, it's not. But I just wanted to check.
Oh, that's a great question. Let me tell you this. We are at the first of the month, and my boss is really generous. Let me just holler at him real quick and see if I can give you the first couple months free, which is going to save you right $122. Hold on one second.
Oh, that'd be nice. Okay.
Hey, Brian, thanks for holding. I just talked to my boss, my director, and he says we can do the 2 months free if you're ready to move and going. So check your inbox and see if my latest DocuSign came in.
Okay. Yeah, let me take a look. Give me a sec. Let me just review this with Randy, just make sure that she's good with it as well. So can I set you on hold for just a bit?
Sure.
Okay, cool. Okay. Yeah. Sounds good. Now, how quickly can you get me up and running?
That's a great question. So if you sign that DocuSign right now, we're going to turn around and send you one that is a more of a technical document that kind of recaps to our implementation team that we're going to get that to. It'll come in the form of a DocuSign as soon as I get the first one back. And I'm going to send you an email with that as well that gives you instructions on how to fill it out. Once that back, we'll get a implementation specialist assigned that day or the first of the next day. So we'll get somebody working on it. Our average install is anywhere from a week to 3 weeks, and I say that because it just depends on how busy you guys are, because our implementation specialist is gonna reach out and get information from Randy, I'm assuming, of names and information that way to get everything started to be set up. She's going to send you some forms to get the accrual set up. And so the faster you get that back to us, the faster they will get it set up. But if all goes well, we could have, something in a week, 2, worst case scenario.
Okay, yeah, that's totally fine. April will be all over this. So if we can be able to get this set up by, say, mid-month, so by the 16th, we'll be right on top of it. We'll send you all the information that you need immediately. As long as we can be set up by then I'll sign it right now.
Okay, give it a sign, and we'll get you the first step going, and we'll get it assigned and get moving on, and I'll light a fire underneath them as well. So
okay, sounds great.
Back
cool.
Right now, we'll move in and we'll get going.
Yeah, you should probably see it come by in your inbox. I just signed it.
There it is. Thanks, Brian. I look forward to working with you. I'll be here for your back office support moving forward as well. The implementation folks will be with you during the first couple of pay periods so that you're making sure, Brandy doesn't have any lingering questions or issues as she does that as well.
Okay, excellent.
I look forward to working with you. Thanks for your time and your business, and I'll get this next sheet over to you right now.
Cool. I appreciate it. Thank you, Greg.
Thank you, Brian. Appreciate your time.
Definitely. Take care.
See you.
Goodbye.